Now at 5, election security. The feds are making it a priority. What this means for you now as the countdown to November 3rd continues.
Tensions have been rising here in Louisville over the last 6 months since Breonna Taylor's death, and now things seem to have reached a boiling point. I'm Rena Roy, and I'll have the latest coming up.
Also tonight, police are targeting a specific street for traffic stops. Why the effort is more urgent than ever.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Good evening to you. I'm Mark Mullins. Amanda is off tonight. We start tonight near the Indiana state line, where the FBI is continuing its investigation into the Breonna Taylor case, even as a grand jury in Louisville, Kentucky announced none of the officers involved will be indicted on charges related to her death. Much of downtown Louisville is a mess right now, as you can see here. After a night of protests, businesses are completely boarded up. There are concrete barriers and trucks for crowd control if things get out of hand. ABC's Rena Roy shows you the latest tonight from Louisville.
Federal charges in the shooting death of Breonna Taylor are still a possibility. A spokesperson for the FBI telling ABC News the Bureau is still investigating all aspects of the case, even after a Kentucky grand jury's decision not to charge any officers in her death. Former officer Brett Hankison was charged with 3 counts of first-degree wanton endangerment, not for firing the shots that killed Breonna, but for recklessly shooting into a neighboring apartment. The Attorney General says the 2 other officers involved in the botched March 13th raid, Detective Miles Cosgrove, who shot 16 times, and Sergeant John Mattingly, who shot 6 times, were justified in firing their weapons because they were returning fire from Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker.
According to Kentucky law, the use of force by Mattingly and Cosgrove was justified to protect themselves.
The Attorney General also declined for now to release the grand jury report or reveal any details about the grand jury itself, raising questions about the racial makeup of the group. Taylor's family demanding transparency.
Did he present any evidence on behalf of Breonna Taylor? Because if he didn't, then he unilaterally put his finger on the scale of justice and made sure that these police officers were exonerated.
The grand jury's decision sparking angry protests, dozens of people arrested overnight.
Public safety and the work for racial equity and justice can and must coexist.
2 Louisville officers shot during the violence. Major Aubrey Gregory, treated for a gunshot wound to the hip, was released from the hospital. And Officer Robin Desroches underwent surgery after being shot in the abdomen. He's recovering.
Officials are, of course, hoping things are more peaceful tonight. Like last night, there will be a curfew beginning at 9 o'clock. The governor has also sent in 500 National Guard personnel. Rena Roy, ABC News, Louisville.
Well, hardly a cloud in the sky across central Indiana. Lots of sunshine again today. We're kind of in an unprecedented string of dry days. Temperatures, they didn't reach 80 degrees again today. 75, the high temperature in Indianapolis. You can see Castleton, 77. Other metro area temperatures all middle to upper 70s. We will warm up. Our most significant warm up into the weekend with temperatures peaking Saturday. The warmer air sits to the west. That's what will be drawn into the state as we go through the next 48 hours. Through the evening hours, temperatures fall. We'll be in the 60s, lower 60s by the time we get to midnight. During the overnight hours, temperatures settle to about 56. Skies will be mostly clear and the wind will be light. During the day tomorrow, we'll wrap up the work week, starting with sunshine, ending with sunshine, and temperatures that do hit 80 degrees. That's the first threshold. We'll zero in on the weekend, talk about rain chances as we go through the weekend as well, coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll see you soon. Now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The state health department reports 17 more deaths. 3,322 Hoosiers have now died with COVID-19, and more than 114,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Nearly 2 million people have been tested in Indiana. We should learn tomorrow if Marion County will follow the rest of the state and move to stage 5 of the COVID-19 reopening plan. As we first reported Wednesday, Governor Holcomb says most of Indiana will move to that final stage on Saturday, but Marion County has not yet said if it plans to follow suit. Mayor Hogsett and Public Health Director Dr. Virginia Kane will give us an update tomorrow. Stage 5 means size limitations will be removed for social gatherings and meetings. Restaurants and bars may open at full capacity, but social distancing must be maintained between tables. Gyms and fitness centers may resume normal operations, but organizers of events with more than 500 people must still get the approval of their local health department. Also, the state's mask mandate will remain in effect for at least the next 3 weeks. A Christmas season tradition in Pendleton has been canceled for 2020. The Pendleton Business Association says Christmas in Pendleton will not take place because they are not able to meet the guidelines in place to ensure the safety for all. The annual event was scheduled for November 14th with a parade, an appearance from Santa Claus, crafts, and the lighting of the town's Christmas tree. Expect to see more Metro police officers on the northeast side of the city getting drivers to slow down. This beefed up patrol effort comes after a number of violent high-speed crashes. Police are focusing on the area near 38th Street and Central. There's been an uptick in collisions here involving speeders. The most recent happened Sunday when a speeding car struck an SUV turning into traffic on 38th Street. 4 people, including a baby, were hurt in that crash. Now police want drivers to really get the message and ease up on the gas.
Slow down. Leave earlier. Give yourself more time. If you're in an accident that kills you, you're not going to make it there at all. It's better to be late than not ever make it. We're out here just educating people. Our ultimate goal is to keep people safe. At no point are we trying to get into someone's pockets and make life harder for people. We also want them to understand that it's dangerous.
At this point, Metro Police are not ticketing drivers. They are stopping drivers to educate them on the dangers. The pro football team owner caught in an embarrassing and potentially legal situation. There's a new development fresh from the halls of justice, still ahead on WRTV. She is helping women to build their own futures, and that's why she is up for a big award later today. Next, the important work she is doing here in central Indiana and the people she is inspiring. Kevin.
And you know it's dry. Kyle Mounts will dig a little deeper for you. We'll talk about an all-time record that we're closing in on.
Democracy 2020, and tonight, taking steps to make sure the 2020 election is truly a fair and democratic process. Misinformation is one of the top issues the FBI is looking at for the November election. That misinformation could be something you see on Facebook or something you get in your mailbox. The FBI says one of its biggest concerns this year is making sure Hoosiers know when and where to vote. Some misinformation campaigns lead people to voting locations that simply don't exist.
States have the primary responsibility of ensuring that the ballots are tabulated. That's not the FBI or the federal government's role. But what I worry about is misinformation going to voters to prevent them from being able to vote, giving the wrong day, the wrong time, the wrong place.
The FBI is advising people to double-check any suspicious information seen on social media or in the mail. If you're voting with an absentee ballot, you need to plan ahead. The deadline is quickly approaching, October 22nd. There are very specific criteria allowing you to vote by mail. We have that list for you on WRTV.com. However, if you don't have to mail in that, absentee ballot, we want to let you know. If you have concerns on mailing your ballot, you can turn it in person to your county's election board at early voting sites or on election day at any voting site before noon. Let's recap some dates and deadlines to remember. Election day is November 3rd. Early voting begins October 6th. And again, you must request an absentee ballot by October 22nd and deliver it by November 3rd. Let WRTV be your central source for all you need to know before the November election. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section. You'll find everything you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when that starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. With just 40 days until the election, President Trump is now saying it could be up to the Supreme Court to determine the results of the vote as he continues to question the integrity of the election. President Trump paid his respects to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg today at the Supreme Court, where he was greeted by boos and chants of "vote him out." Today, the president is facing backlash over comments he made last night, refusing twice to say if he will commit to a peaceful transition of power.
Well, we're going to have to see what happens. You know that I've been complaining very strongly about the ballots.
Do you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transfer of power?
We want to get rid of the ballots, and we'll have a very peaceful. There won't be a transfer, frankly. There'll be a continuation.
President Trump declined to answer the question directly again today, and Democrats are now accusing the president of disrespecting a basic principle of American democracy. But Republicans are stopping short of criticizing the president directly for his remarks. Instead, they are affirming the idea of a peaceful transition of power. Voting is underway already in some states, and President Trump is casting doubt on the results of the election, pointing without evidence to widespread fraud from mail-in voting. New information just coming in. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft will not face trial on charges he paid for massage parlor sex. Florida prosecutors say they are dropping a misdemeanor charge against Kraft after a court blocked their use of video that allegedly shows him paying for sex at the spa in early 2019. The court ruled last month the video cameras police secretly installed in the spa violated the customer's right to privacy. Kraft could still face a suspension from the National Football League. Even as we slowly try to come back during the pandemic, the number of Hoosiers out of work remains high. New numbers from the Department of Labor show more than 12,000 Hoosiers filed for regular unemployment benefits last week. That's down slightly from the previous week, but still at elevated levels. Almost 12,000 additional Hoosiers filed for pandemic and employment assistance last week, while another 7,700 filed for pandemic emergency compensation. Walmart will be hiring Hoosiers soon to work in Hancock County. Walmart says it has finalized plans to build its largest e-commerce fulfillment center in the U.S. It will be more than 2 million square feet. It will be located at County Roads 500 North and 500 West outside of McCordsville. Walmart says it will spend $600 million to build this new facility, and the company says it will create up to 1,000 new jobs over the next 5 years. Construction is scheduled to begin soon. Tonight, one of Indy's own is up for a big national award. Katina Washington is all about empowering and encouraging women to dream big. Every day, she is focused on she. WRTV's Rafael Sanchez explains.
A degree of caution, as every person at the She event underwent a temperature check at the state fairgrounds. She stands for She Has Everything, and it all unfolded at its largest venue to date. This is all about empowering and encouraging women to start their own businesses and create jobs.
Our businesses depend on it. Our community depends on it.
This is She founder Katina Washington this past January when she received the Jefferson Award for Multiplying Good. And she hasn't slowed down.
Over 90% of our vendors who are here today, they create their own products and services. Ground roots businesses, organic businesses here.
This is the first time Katina hired 15 girls, ages 14 through 16. They will work together and present their own business at the next She event.
I look up to you.
You look up to them. What do you hope to get out of it today?
I hope to learn some of just a little bit of the basics of business and try to get into it.
What can I do for you? I got some dollar bags. I got some $5 bags.
It's On and Popping Popcorn has used this event to build its brand name and to share some advice with up-and-coming entrepreneurs.
I would tell them to just keep trying. Just keep on putting your product out there.
There are a lot of ups and downs. You get knocked down, get back up and try it again.
It's an event where an idea that pops into your mind may bloom into a business. And here at She, they're not settling for anything but bigger and better.
Today is an example of people who have perseverance and are going to push through this time and make things happen.
And that was Rafael Sanchez reporting. Tonight, Katina will represent WRTV and Indiana in the National Jefferson Award for Multiplying Good event. It's a virtual event which starts at 7:30, and we wish Katina all the best. Powerball is set to roll out a whole new look. The televised drawing will feature new balls, upgraded ball dispensing machines, and a new studio. The 1-minute show, which airs Wednesday and Saturday nights, will also feature new graphics and music. It's the first time the set has been updated since the show moved to Florida from Iowa in 2012. No worries for all you Powerball players. The 28-year-old game itself is not changing. You can expect to see the new changes on September 30th. Mud Strut is an annual tradition here in Indianapolis, but this year tradition is being put on pause because of the pandemic. The annual Mud Strut will be virtual. It takes place this Saturday, the 26th. In years past, Mud Strut took place at the Motor Speedway, giving pets a chance to lick the bricks. But the pandemic means a more community-oriented event for 2020 participants. More than 1,000 people and their dogs will be seen strutting around their own neighborhoods.
We've created a lot of things to try to make it exciting and different, as citywide scavenger hunt and things like that. It'll be live on a Facebook feed and other social media, and there'll be interactive things, and we're going to have an adoptable pet parade and do things to make it as exciting and as interesting as we can. The event, frankly, is just too important to us not to do it at all.
Mud Strut is Indy Humane's largest fundraiser and the largest pet walk in the Midwest. You'll need to register at the Indy Humane website. It's a $40 fee for adults, $30 for children. Organizers hope to return to IMS for next year's Mud Strut.
Well, sunshine and a stroll, they go together on a day like this. Light wind, comfortable temperatures near west side here along White River. We've got a couple more days where temperatures will be summer-like before we see a fundamental change. Look at this. It's like you go up to a ledge here. The ledge with temperatures in the low to mid 80s, and then boom, drops way off as temperatures next week fall well below average and will stay there for a while the way it looks. You're looking over turn 2 at the Motor Speedway and the green canopy of treetops. I'm sure if we zoomed in really tight, you'd begin to see a lot more color in some of those trees, but it's generally a blue sky that dominates now. 80 in Lafayette and in Sullivan. Congratulations. Muncie is at 80 as well. You guys are the exceptions to the rule, which is generally upper 70s for temperatures. Indianapolis, the warmest we've been so far today at 77. We'll fall back into the 50s tonight. Temperatures will be in the low to mid 40s at some point in the 7-day forecast. You'll see that unveiled here in just a little bit. Comfortable start to your Friday. We'll work our way through the morning hours tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. 11 a.m. temperature recovers already to 71. With the ground so dry, it makes it more efficient at heating up. Should have no problem getting to 80 tomorrow afternoon with nothing but a few fair weather clouds around. Won't be too breezy, but that changes as we get to the weekend. I think the wind will increase during the day on the Saturday. There are the comfortable high temperatures with relatively low humidity through the day. Friday night football, a good night for those playing and in the stands. Temperatures down into the low 70s quickly after the sun sets. Low humidity. It might be a bit warm at the start for those playing. 84 Saturday. That's the warmest temperature within the 7-day planner. Obviously Sunday not much different. The only difference Sunday, that 20% chance we could see a shower or thunderstorm with the first of a couple of cold fronts that will come our way. Notice the wind, it's strong and increasing during the day Saturday. That will draw in the warmer temperatures, just a touch more humidity into the picture. The first 3 days represent the warmest 3 days, and then the transition to much cooler temperatures. 66 Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, lower 60s, and we've got temperatures as cool as 44 degrees by next Thursday morning. We've been harping about how dry it is in central Indiana. Kyle Mounts joins us now, and we're closing in on an all-time record. Huh, Kyle?
Yeah, Kevin, you know, we're getting into some historic territory now. If we were to end the month of September today, we would have our driest month ever on record for Indianapolis, picking up just that 0.04 of an inch of rain. But we got that asterisk there because we do still have a little more time in the month. That puts March 1910 at the driest at 0.07 of an inch of rain, and not too far back in the history books. Remember the hot and dry summer of 2012, June of 2012, just 1/10 of an inch of rain in the gauge. Well, today we had the updated drought monitor. We have had an expansion here of some of the dry conditions over the eastern portion of the state. Most notable, though, moderate drought now developing around Greencastle, Brazil, and along I-70 here. So we need some rainfall looking through the end of the month. A couple of models, generally between 0.5 and 1 inch of rainfall coming our way. way. That'll certainly help, but we could, in some spots, western and northern communities, use about 3 to 6 inches of rain to kind of even the playing field. Mark?
All right, Kyle, thank you. These kinds of dance moves here are usually inspired by loud music, but for one dad, acknowledgement from his son is all he really needs. This touching story when the News at 5 returns. Halloween is a month away, and we are starting to get more information from cities and towns across central Indiana about their trick-or-treat plans. Plainfield has established official trick-or-treat hours from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Halloween night, while in Greenfield, trick-or-treating will happen between 5 and 8 p.m. On Tuesday, the CDC posted guidelines for trick-or-treaters. You can find those at our website, WRTV.com. Plus, we're compiling a list of all local trick-or-treating hours. Coronavirus-related restrictions at hospitals are making it hard for loved ones to spend time with patients during their treatments. But a father in Fort Worth, Texas, came up with a creative and entertaining way to connect with his son while that boy receives chemotherapy. Chuck Yielding shows his love through the power of dance, and he does it without any music. 14-year-old Aiden Yielding is receiving chemo treatment for leukemia, and because of COVID-19 rules, only one parent is allowed inside. And since Aiden's mom works at the hospital, she was the clear choice. Even though it's clear, though, it is the fact that Dad wasn't going to be too far away. So every Tuesday during breaks in between treatment, Chuck finds the nearest window to his son and dances for him.
It's funny. It's watching him figure out all what he's gonna do. Cheers me up sometimes.
Just anything to bring his spirits up a little bit. Let him know that he's not alone and we're with him.
And while he can muster up enough strength, Aiden dances back, mirroring his father's disco moves from 3 stories up. Great to see that. Most of Indiana enters stage 5 of reopening this weekend. That means full capacity for businesses like restaurants. New tonight at 6, our conversation with business owners and what you can expect. And next here at 5:30, the Indiana woman at the center of speculation over the president's Supreme Court nominee.